Seasons come and go, and so do fruits. Talk Business 237 this month focuses on fruit farming and fruit processing, a sector that could generate thousands of jobs for young unemployed Cameroonians, but that so far generates a few hundred.
Talk Business 237.
Let's now look through our magnifying lens, the loop, at some of the causes of the excessive post-harvest losses that affect fruits in Cameroon. Our guide is Christian Che Atam.
Thousands of tons of fruits are lost daily between the farm and the table in Cameroon, wasting the time, energy, and resources invested by farmers. This post-harvest loss can largely be attributed to the absence of fruit conservation and processing facilities in the country. An incursion to the major fruit markets of Yaoundé and Douala revealed that fruit wastage is real across Cameroon. Food wastage occurs mainly at the early stage of the food value chain and can be traced back to financial, managerial, and technical constraints in harvesting and storing. Fruit vendors at Marché Sandaga, Douala's biggest fruit market, blame the quick decay of fruits mainly on two issues: climatic conditions in the hot, humid coastal town and the absence of cooling warehouses designed to prolong the life of fruits.
On peut acheter comme ça là, peut-être 500 kg de pastèque, hein? Mais il peut arriver parfois qu'on ait 50 même à 100 kg de perte. Et aussi le problème des intempéries, c'est vrai. Surtout en saison pluvieuse comme ça là, il y a trop de pertes, les moisissures et consorts. Il y a aussi l'abondance. Vous savez que les fruits aussi c'est en fonction d'abondance. Maintenant, pour préserver ça là, nous n'avons pas de magasin.
Faced with this cruel predicament, where they buy fruit from wholesalers and farmers without any certainty of selling enough to break even, fruit dealers are forced to think of alternative ways of using the fruits once they become unfit for human consumption. The rise of roadside juice bars is not only saving lots of fruits from ending up in trash cans, but is also providing a source of livelihood for unemployed youths in Cameroon. Here, the fruits are served according to the taste of the customer, sometimes with extra sugar or milk, and often as a cocktail. Leslie, a young university graduate we met in the Sandaga market in Douala, is buying fruits for his business, a chain of fruit bars which he dreams of expanding.
I'm at Marché Sandaga in Douala. I came to buy fruits. I operate a juice bar called Bonga Juice Bars. We are so blessed in Cameroon with fruits. In Cameroon, we have almost all the fruits based on the climatic variations that we have in the country. I used to go to the market and I see a lot of fruits being wasted. And I decided to do something that many people would like to take, to develop a concept, a natural fruit juice bar that will provide not only fruit drinks, but drinks that are also healthy and using the fruits with their natural states. That is why I decided to develop this idea. What actually we do at Bonga Juice Bars is we buy the fruit as fresh as it is. We take them to the juice bar, and when the customer comes, you make your choice, you make any choice that you like, and we choose it fresh and serve it with you fresh with every taste.
His initiative is not only creating jobs for a generation of unemployed youths, but is saving lots of fruits from a certain fate.
We encourage farmers to bring in fresh fruit. We buy the fruits as fresh as possible from the market. With the advent of Bonga Juice Bars, most of the farmers would like to bring it to us periodically, even daily or twice a week in our fruit store. So when they supply it to us at that state, there is no problem. We also serve it as fresh as possible. We use at least 500 pineapples weekly, and we use 200 kilograms of passion fruit. We also use 100 kilograms of papaya and oranges. I think this is an innovative way to prevent fruit spoilages, because what we are trying to do, we are trying to bridge the gap between people who want to get healthy fruit drinks, but they don't have the time, they don't have the resources to produce them themselves, and then we build that bridge and create juice bars that are available, that they can leave from their work and come and consume it.
However, Leslie's juice dream could easily end up in a nightmare if he receives a big order which will need production and conservation, simply because, like most juice bars in Cameroon, they are structured to deal only with a limited clientele.
We hope that by the time the project has come into fruition, we are going to provide a lot of jobs in the agribusiness in Cameroon. Why? The population of Cameroon is made of about 80% farmers, people who live on farm products. So what we are going to do is we want to transform this 90% of Cameroonians into millionaires, be it at the level of farmers, be it at those who are doing the local processing of the fruit. That will get a lot of youth also engaged into. We've made some common initiative groups which are made up of farmers. We have given them the seeds to go and plant. Like in Dongaman to Tabiken in particular, one farmer has gone into half-hectare production of passion fruit. There's another guy in Boya, he's about to put 1 hectare of his farm just into passion fruit. So we are doing a lot of sensitization, but one thing is that Cameroon is so blessed. Cameroon is so blessed, and I don't think even if each and every Cameroonian has to drink just 1 glass of juice in the morning every day, we are going to have such shortage. No, it's instead going to create a lot of jobs.
In order to make fruit processing sustainable and to put fruit drinks made in Cameroon on the shelves of supermarkets, outfits like this small and medium-sized enterprise based in Bonaberi, Douala, is the way to follow. Here, fruits harvested from the company's plantations outside Douala are dried up, processed, and exported mainly to Europe. The man running the business confesses that Cameroonians cannot afford his fruit drinks, which will cost an average of 2,000 francs or more per bottle because of the high cost of production. While waiting for fruits to be rescued from their current predicament, Cameroon continues to depend on seasonal fruits for nutrition, and thousands of jobs which could be developed in this sector may never come to being. This situation confirms UN statistics which indicate that nearly half of all fruits and vegetables produced in the world each year are wasted. And another statistic which indicates that inefficient processing, drying, and poor storage and inefficient infrastructure are instrumental in food waste in Africa, with nearly 50% of fruits lost in spoilage in sub-Saharan Africa.
Talk Business 237.
From Yaoundé, we take you to Douala for our guest slot, Let's Talk, where we meet a specialist of the fruit business.
Talk Business 237.
Our focus on this edition of Talk Business 237 is fruit farming and processing. And to join us as guest on this edition is none other but Jean-Pierre Imele, a man who has devoted roughly 26 years of his life to fruit farming and processing. He's developed lots of fruit drinks, and we are here to get his expert opinion on the whole business, the difficulties, and of course to inspire other Cameroonians who may want to go into this domain. We'll begin by making you play the consumer. Can you tell us what is your favorite fruit drink? What do you like most?
My favorite is pineapple and passion fruit mix.
Okay, you like a mix of pineapple and passion fruit.
Yeah.
When you enter a supermarket to buy a fruit drink, as an expert, as someone who knows what this is all about, what do you expect in that fruit drink?
First of all, I don't go to supermarket to buy fruit drink because I produce fruit drink. But what I expect is to drink something which is 100% fruit without sugar.
How much of the fruits grown in Cameroon are lost to post-harvest? Because we kind of realize that too many fruits end up in trash cans and rotten in our markets.
Yeah, it's really a problem in Cameroon. And we are doing organic farming. And we also observe that most of the fruit in Cameroon are lost because there's no processing unit. And it's really the problem. And then when the fruits are harvested, they are lost. But before they harvest the fruit, they are also lost because we do not master how to control the pests and diseases we can observe in the farm normally. And then if we add the loss before harvest and the loss after harvest, it's really a huge amount. And I'm sure we can provide more than 5,000 jobs to Cameroonians only by developing a good management system in growing fruit, harvesting fruit, and processing fruit at the end.
Now, when I look at the way fruit farming is done in Cameroon, I have the feeling that lots of people depend on seasons. There's a season for plums, for other fruits. Do people actually plan in such a way that fruit farming can go all year round and not depend only on specific seasons?
Yes, first of all, Cameroon is a famous country. You talk about mango. Mango in this country can be present for 10 months in 12, okay, in the whole year. The last mango harvest in Bamenda region on July, and the next mango by the 20th of September will be coming from Kribi area and Limbe. You can see that for this particular fruit, which is mango, because we process mango, we have the fruit almost 10 months a year. So this allows you to set up a fruit juice business by processing it. And then, again, the country is a particular country with so many microclimate everywhere. When you go in the north part of the country, you have a specific microclimate. You go in the south part, you go to the northwest. I was talking about mango in Bamenda region. Bamenda region, mango, you have mango there by end of June, July, August. And when you go to Obala, you have it by March, April, May. You see? So the country have a lot of possibility.
Do you think better conservation can help Cameroon reduce this trend of post-harvest loss?
The first thing to do is probably to supply enough energy, to supply water, and to train people in different school or different places. For example, in the company, we used to receive so many young guys for internship training here, coming from Gaoundéré or Chang University. And to do all this, because you cannot process fruit if you don't have permanent energy. You cannot process fruit if water you are going to use is dirty, or they supply water maybe irregularly. So to process the fruit, you really need to have all this. And you really need people who are really involved in it. You really need a national policy at the level of the state, you know, to promote all this.
You have invested hugely in fruit farming and fruit processing. Can you tell us, why did you decide to go in that direction?
It's really a very, very long history. Let's make it short. I was young, I was abroad, living in France, and I was a student and learning management in Université Lyon 3. And then I get out from this University Lyon 3 to go to start learning how to produce fruit in, they call it Centre de Formation Professionnelle. And then I start doing it that way. And I immediately decide to go into organic farming because I discovered that we have a huge potential in Cameroon because we don't need to import input fertilizer from abroad. We can produce it. If you visit our farm, we produce our fertilizer. No need to buy. And you can do it. What we are doing in our farm in Kombe, we can do it in different places in Cameroon. So this is why I decided to go in that business, because I believe the business can provide jobs, can provide money, and it's a very nice business because you harvest when what you grow, you know. Then this is normal.
Over the past 26 years, give us an idea of how many jobs you've been able to create.
Here in Biotropical now, between the permanent worker and temporary worker, we are roughly 120 now. And sometimes we have 150, depending on the season. For example, at the top level of the mango season, we have 120. This is direct worker. And then in different places where we gather the fruit, we also work with small outgrowers. Then we buy the fruit from there sometime. And then, yes. And then you said this is what we do. And then the second question, here in Cameroon, we do export. We do export roughly, let's say, 80% of what we grow. And then now the rest, we sell it in shops and on the roadside and everywhere like that. Even here, you can buy the fruit here if you want to buy it.
What, in your opinion, are the top priorities for any young man who dreams of getting into this particular domain?
You have to be patient because we are growing fruit trees, and you have to be patient. We are growing fruit trees in the country where there's not a specific national policy concern taxation, you know, what we say in French, fiscalité. Yes, taxation of agribusiness here is mixed with taxation of those who are doing very short-term business. When you grow a tree, you can grow a tree for 15 years. You never harvest the fruit immediately. Then you have to invest for 15 years before harvesting the first fruit. Then you see, you have to be patient. And then second, that you have to be trained. You have to be trained. We have here in Gaoundere a very good school where younger are trained. We have 4 engineers coming from this school who are working with us here. And then you have to be also a hard-working person. Yeah.
When you go to a supermarket, you look at the stall, you would see lots of drinks from Asia, Europe, maybe Northern Africa, but very few made in Cameroon drinks. Is it because the drinks are rare or the quality is not good?
No, it's just a question of, again, national policy. Normally, when you go in some countries, for example, Ivory Coast, for example, or Ghana, you can notice that most of the initiatives were really difficult to set up as agriculture and agri-processing, as really supported by the state. And here in Cameroon, it's very easy for with a guy who have some million to just book a flight to go to Dubai and load some containers of drinks with 60% or 45% fruit juice, and the rest is water and sugar and preservative. And this is not very, very fair, you know. Energy is very costly in Cameroon. Supplying good water in rural area is very costly. And normally, the processing unit was not supposed to be in town. We built a very nice facility in the farm, and this cannot be explored because no energy and no water. You see, then now we have to carry fruit from the farm, come to process it here. This increase the cost, and we cannot compete with those fruit juice coming from Dubai and so on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jean-Pierre Imele, for accepting to be guest on Let's Talk. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Our next slot on Let's Talk Business 237 is, of course, our art business slot, which focuses on the link between business and technology. And today, we look at online shopping.
Talk Business 237, the window into the Central Africa marketplace.
Online shopping or e-shopping, as you actually, I think that's what you called it, is a form of electronic commerce, which allows customers to directly buy from a provider, from a seller over the internet using a web browser. Alternative names, people have called it e-web store, e-shop, e-store, web shop, online store, which is the most commonly used because there are different types of online stores. Online storefronts, as compared to the conventional storefronts. The advantages of online shopping are the fact that it saves time. You'll be at work, you'll be in your car, you could be in another shop that doesn't have what you actually went there for, and from your phone, from your tablet, or from your computer, depending on where you find yourself, you just order what you have and pay immediately, because you're supposed to also have an account which permits online payment. Another advantage is the fact that it saves fuel, and I'm sure in Cameroon people understand what it means presently, where fuel price just increased. If you were going to move from shop to shop to look for particular items, you wouldn't even need to go to a shop. You just go into a catalog of a particular online shop, choose whatever you want to buy, pay for it, and it is delivered to you within 3 hours, 5 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, depending on where you find yourself anyway. Because you could actually, for those who are even in Cameroon and who want to buy from the US, you can actually buy from some online shops which are not even found in Cameroon, and your items will be delivered. It also saves energy. It is something which people don't actually know how to imagine when they are using. I'm talking about that energy. It is tiresome to move from place to place. You can find yourself trying to buy a particular item, and you know the kinds of shops that are supposed to have those items, but you don't know which one exactly has it. On an online shop, when you go online to check for the item, you have different shops which already have them, and you just pick it, and then it gets up to the other advantage. You can then compare prices before you actually pick your product, pay, and it is delivered to you. Online shopping is available 24/7, which is not the case with conventional shops. You need to be at the shop during business hours and be sure to meet the item there before picking it up. So there's that advantage. You may not also want to long queues. There may be an item found just in one shop which also has an online shop, and you know the website. You go to the website and you avoid all the long lines and just pick your items, and it is delivered to you. In Cameroon, we have some websites, we have some online shopping, some e-commerce models that that align our considered as online shopping, which do not function particularly well. But I'm sure most Cameroonians know about eBay. eBay is a perfect online shopping. It's even a complete e-commerce, because it's a website where you actually sell and buy. It's a platform where you can sell and buy new and used items. And for those who have visited eBay, for example, when you've clicked on whatever you want to buy, 98% of the time you always get at least one of the items available, and then you start comparing prices, trying to find out how old it has been, how long it was used before being sold. Basically, I don't think it's publicity mentioning, for example, Alibaba or Sell and Quick. Those are platforms or websites which do e-commerce, e-business. Most of them actually allow customers to know what is available for purchase. But then you still have to call a number, and then you have to move or negotiate with the person on how the transactions will be done, which is not the conventional online shopping. Well, the government of Cameroon needs to encourage online shopping and actually reduce some taxes for those who are going to do online shopping, because it would permit some gaps to be bridged.
After unraveling online sales with our IT and business specialist, we now bring in another expert in our Economics 101 slot.
Talk Business 237.
Basically, when we talk of lend, borrow, and loan, those are words that people use interchangeably, but which necessarily don't mean the same thing. I would take a simple scenario: a bank and a client. A bank lends money to her client, and the client borrows from the bank. So the bank is the lender and the client is the borrower. Now, a loan is a noun that describes the transaction between the bank and the client. In normal, our daily life, you might hear somebody say, I borrowed money to Mr. X is wrong. You lend to somebody and you borrow from somebody. So it's very subtle, and you just need to be very conscious to be able to avoid such mistakes. We want to distinguish between the words client, customer, and consumer. Now, I will start with client. Your client is somebody with whom you have an ongoing business relationship. Ongoing. Your client is somebody who comes today and you expect him to come tomorrow and to continue coming. There's an ongoing business relationship. On the other hand, your customer, somebody who is your customer, comes for a one-off transaction. You, as the seller, for instance, you don't make efforts to create a long-standing relationship with such a person. That is why in some businesses you hear of a walk-in customer. That is somebody who comes for a particular transaction and goes away. But the client, there is a commitment, there is this ongoing relationship between the client and the institution per se. And if you even look at etymologically from the origin of the word client, it comes from a Latin word cliens, which means follower. So you see there is this tendency, it's not a one-off something, there's this tendency to keep a long-lasting relationship with your client. And this is very, very important, because even in high business circles, we make use of this term client-customer. We use them interchangeably, which is not really, really appropriate. When you call somebody your client, you give the person more importance. But when you call him your customer, him or her your customer, it means there is that zeal for a long-term business relationship, or long-term creation or adding of value is not really there. And now a consumer, as the word implies, somebody who consumes your products or your services. So your client is a consumer of your products. Your customer is a consumer of your product. And then the word client too, there is some particular professions where the word client is used, and it means the same thing like the customer. For instance, a lawyer has his clients. You have your lawyer, you are his client. Yes, so there are some of those professions where the word client has a clear-cut definition. And I think in this respect, the French language is more precise. They don't make out the difference between client, customer. I think they say client. Everybody, they categorize everybody. It means there is this zeal to create a long-lasting relationship with the person. Dear televiewers, I hope you enjoyed this session of Economics 101. Let's make it all a rendezvous for the next coming session. Thank you very much.
Talk Business 237.
We leave you on this edition of Talk Business 237 with this quote from JFK. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Remember to like Talk Business 237 on Facebook and on Twitter. Thanks for your kind attention.